Hi, my name's Thomas Freear. I'm a current client at Harrison's and he's just helped me transfer to my new school. So I'm making this video to speak about my own experiences with working with Harrison and how the whole process went for myself moving on to my new school. So to start from exactly at the beginning, I was referred to Harrison by another client of his. At first I was a little bit skeptical of it just coming out of the blue and not knowing the person who referred Harrison to myself. But at the time I knew I was looking to transfer, I was at home and I knew I wanted to move on for my next fall. So I thought, why not look into working with Harrison? I had a meeting with Harrison, sort of his introduction meeting that he does. He spoke about how he worked, how things work, how the process will work going through everything. And for me at the time, it sounded like nothing better. It sounded a lot more professional than what my agency was that I worked with to get out to the US in the first time of me coming out. So I decided to work with Harrison instead of my original agency. So from then onwards, we started doing more meetings regularly, being in contact. But first we started off by laying down the foundations of what I want and what my family want with me moving on to my new school. So for me, I just done my first freshman year out in the States at an AIA school. I felt like I've put down my groundwork, shown myself in the US to this point now I can move on to a bigger school. So I wanted to step up within football. So for me, that was looking at a top 25 D2 program is whereabouts I wanted to be. For me and my family, education is very important. So we wanted a good school educationally. And for area-wise, I wanted to experience somewhere not where I already was. So in the Midwest, I wanted to experience a new part of the States by moving schools. So Harrison has his way of working out what will work for me and where I'm looking. So we differed down the level to D2, like I said. And then area-based is quite self-explanatory and obviously looking for somewhere with higher education. So Harrison promised me that he could get that for me and turns out in the end he did. My situation at my school made it a little bit difficult to transfer at times because my school wasn't as competitive. We went with not recording a win in my freshman semester, which even though for myself as a goalkeeper, I made a lot of saves, had some good statistics, going forward for me, it made it difficult when people would look at the school and look at the school's record, how many goals I'm conceding. Didn't make it as easy at times. But from my whole experience with Harrison, I think some of the most important things were the lessons I learned with him. Going through everything, prepping for calls, prepping for meetings with coaches, how I want to speak to coaches to make sure they like me on the calls. They've seen my footage, they already like me, but making sure they like me as a person, to then developing them into actually concrete offers. But I truly think now I'm at a point where I'm comfortable speaking to anyone on my phone. It's replicated for finding summer league teams on my own, speaking to clubs back home. But throughout the whole experience, I've had unlimited connections through Harrison. I've had one-on-one meetings all the time whenever he's available. At one point I was speaking to Harrison every few hours every day through the semester, so he's always been there. I've always felt like I had Harrison to speak to if I need him to, if I'm ever struggling with anything, admissions process at the moment, which I know can be difficult. I've always got Harrison if I need help with that. If I'm ever struggling how to speak to a coach or how to deal with a certain situation, he's always been there. So now, coming on to finalising things, I've committed to Concord University, which is a top 25 D2 program, competing in nationals every year. So exactly everything I wanted from there. Step up in football, like I mentioned. They play in the Mountain East, they're in the Northeast based area of the US, which is very prestige for its education. So for me and my family, that's, like I said, a big priority. So, and it's a new area in the States, like I mentioned. So for me, I couldn't be happier with this move. It maybe at times was tough with the transferring situation, with offers coming and going, but it's turned out really well, and me and my family are very happy with everything. So to any advice of people who are thinking of working with Harrison or not thinking of working with Harrison, I can't speak higher of Harrison. We worked really well. He accommodated to my family very well to make sure they were always happy, even when I was in the States and they were at home. But he made everything so much easier. Everything was so so open, so honest, so I knew where everything was at. There was no hiding things away that you can sometimes get with agencies, not knowing if things going well. Everything was done straightforward and honest, so I knew where I was at with everything. But truly, I think it doesn't hurt having that introduction meeting. There's no cost to that introduction meeting, so feel free to go and sit down, have that meeting with Harrison, see what he's all about and see what everything's about, and then take everything forward, and hopefully he can help you make that move.